Hi guys, welcome to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Kyra, and here on my channel we're all about real makeup for real life and real people. Whether that means making color more wearable or just talking about things that look beautiful in real life, that is what you can expect here on my Journey in Beauty. Today's video is a reboot of my month in review series. If you've not seen this series from me before, this is kind of my rendition of what I've been loving, what I haven't been loving, channel updates, project pan updates, though I have none, and things like that. I have just a small handful of favorites this month. There's nothing new, I don't think. Nope, nothing new. And a couple of non-makeup favorites and a few things to chat about, so let's get into it. So, if you missed it, I did do a top 10 eyeshadow palettes for fall video, and I've been absolutely stinking loving one palette in particular from that group of 10, and it is the ABH Jackie Aina palette. I kind of got this at the end of fall last year, so I did my review on it, but then I didn't really reach for it again because, like I said in my previous video, I was kind of waiting for fall of 2020 to dive back into this. To me, this is like the epitome of a beautiful fall palette. It is what I have on my eyes today, and quite frankly, I've been reaching for this more than I thought I would. So today on my eyes, I went in with the shade Ginger, then I put the shade Pinker, then the shade Credit, then the shade Lituation, and the shade Soleil. And I don't know. When I look at this palette, I'm like, purple, pink, red, you know, colors that don't necessarily remind me as much of fall, but I am always surprised and very excited about the looks that I come up with today. This is not what I expected to come up with, but I'm really excited about it nonetheless. Lituation was a little darker than I anticipated, and I also didn't anticipate how beautiful Soleil would look over top. So I really like how the look came out, and I'm just having a really great time playing with this. If you have this palette, did you bust it out for fall yet? Next, let's talk about a highlighter. This is the highlighter and the only highlighter that I left out of my collection when I packed up all of my makeup to move. This was the only one that I brought with me. It is the Nabla Skin Glazing Glass Skin Finish Glow Powder, and I have mine in the shade Privilege. This is such an interesting color. First of all, I don't know, yeah, you should be able to tell how much of a dip that I've made in this highlighter, which is really saying something because it's a highlighter. You don't use a ton of highlighter. In fact, yeah, I don't have any highlighter on today. I do have a little of the Charlotte Tilbury Hollywood Flawless Filter underneath my tinted moisturizer, but let's put a little of this on now. It's so pretty. There is absolutely no glitter or anything crazy like that in here. Oh, look at that. And the thing I love about this highlighter in particular is that it just gives like a glossy look to the skin. And you know, there's not a lot of base pigment, so it doesn't matter if you put it over or under your blush. Typically, if I wear a more pigmented highlighter, I like to wear it under my blush, just so everything looks a little bit more natural. But this has just such a gorgeous, glossy look to it, and I'm obsessed. I did not miss a single other highlighter while I was wearing this one through the, I don't know, 6 weeks or so that my makeup was packed up. I don't know how well you'll be able to see it here, but it is so pretty. It's like pinky, peachy, gold, and yet no pigment all at the same time. And just look at that gloss, all across. And I'm just living for that look. Next, let's talk about a couple of complexion products. The first one is the tinted moisturizer that I have on my skin today. I only have a deluxe sample of this, but I have gotten so much use out of this little sample. It's the Tarte Maracuja Tinted Hydrator, and I have mine in the shade 20 in Light Neutral. This is a perfect shade match for me, at least right now. And I've gotten so much use out of this. I've probably used this 15 times at least, and I absolutely love it. It doesn't take a huge amount, probably like a large pea size, or large pea size, somewhere between that and like a garbanzo beans. Why do we compare them to food? I don't really know. My hair, you guys. Ugh. I wish my hair was something else. You guys always comment on my hair, and thank you so much for doing that, because it keeps me from just shaving my head some days. But anyhow, I love this. I love the way it feels on the skin. It feels like skincare. It's a very light coverage. It is very much like a tinted moisturizer, but that's kind of my jam more often than not. I just want something that will even out my skin tone, and this definitely does this. It's not completely sheer. It is going to give you a little bit of coverage, and especially depending upon how much you put on. I would say that this is a very natural finish, not dewy, definitely not matte, but pretty natural. I do tend to set this with a powder. The powder I've been using recently is the Sephora Micro Smooth powder. It's a baked powder, very lightweight. And I don't need much setting right now because it's freezing outside right now. So I really like this. I really, really want to purchase this in the full size, but I've told myself that I need to finish at least one more foundation or tinted moisturizer or some kind of a foundation product before I purchase this one in the full size. So we'll see if I hold myself to that, but this is really good. And I'm not even like a huge Tarte fan or anything like that. I won't recommend or even try a lot of Tarte products, but I believe I got this as like a Sephora promo or something like that, where you got a decent size little tube of it. I think there's maybe one use left in here, and I'm pretty sad about it. And then an oldie but a goodie that I just so happened to try within the last like 3 or 4 months, I think. And it is the Maybelline Instant Age Rewind Eraser Multi-Use Concealer. I have mine in the shade Light 120, and I love this. This is the concealer I have under my eyes today, though don't hold me to this under eye situation, because I did try setting it with that Sephora powder, and I think I've just decided I prefer not to set my concealer, especially when it's not hot or anything like that. I had bought this years ago, like right at the beginning of my channel, and I'm in my 3rd year of YouTube. I'll be going into my 4th year of YouTube in January, which is really hard to believe. The thing I like about this is how lightweight it is, but it still gives really nice coverage. And I do prefer to just tap this out with my ring finger when I apply it. I think it works best that way. The little spongy thing doesn't even really bother me all that much. I just make sure not to saturate the sponge with product. I mean, it's not my favorite, but it works. It's just so funny because when I originally bought this at the beginning of my channel, I really didn't like this. But it was obviously operator error. And I apply my concealer differently now. More often than not, I'm at least starting out to apply it or tap it out with my finger, and then sometimes I'll go back in with my sponge. This is great. I mean, it's no wonder it's so many people's favorites. You see people do like a drugstore get ready with me, or drugstore favorites, or drugstore starter kit, or what have you, and this is frequently on that list. And now I know it's for good reason. I do recommend it. And then lastly, for the makeup category of favorites, or tops as I usually call them, are the e.l.f. Ride or Die Lip Balms. These are fantastic. I actually had 3 at one point. I also had the Mighty Mint one, which is clear. But my daughter copped it from me and she loves it as well. She's like, it's like the only chapstick that feels like it actually does something for my lips. And I would agree with that. The 2 I have here are Just Peachy and Tough Cookie. I'm wearing Tough Cookie on my lips right now. I will say, as a point of reference for you, these are extremely firm products unless you warm them up in your hand, in your bra, wherever you want to warm them up. You can certainly run them under warm water, but you will not get any product out of these tubes unless you warm them up first, or if you live somewhere where it's warm, which I do not. It's like 20 degrees outside right now in northern Colorado, and I'm not real thrilled about it, if I'm being honest. So we'll start with Tough Cookie. They're both warm now. It's not, anything crazy. It looks like so, and it just has a nice little pinky nude color tint to it. I'll put a little bit more on my lips. And this one I love just for around the house, or even, out and about, in my purse, whatever. I mean, it will transfer on your mask, but I don't find that I get it like all over my face or anything like that. And this one definitely has like a sweet vanilla baked goods kind of scent to it. It's interesting, and I don't know if anybody else feels this way, but I feel like the mint one actually smells more like lime, and I don't know if that's just me. But the Just Peachy one, I love. This is the one I keep down in my kitchen so I can reapply, if I happen to be down there. It smells like peach rings. I don't think it smells like real peaches, but it smells like peach rings, and that is not at all a bad smell to me. And you can see that the peachy one just has like a light peach tint to it, and that's, kind of what it does on the lips as well. These are thick, like with 2 or 3 C's, as my kids would say. They're very thick, but as a result, they stay on the lips and they really protect the lips for a good amount of time, eating and drinking. I don't have to reapply these nearly as much as I do like my EOS lip balms, but this is a great option because it does last so long. It's not sticky or greasy or oily or anything like that. It's just a really nice lip balm. I don't even know what I would equate it to because I don't think I've experienced anything else quite like this at all. All right, let's talk about a couple of non-makeup things that I've been loving this month, and I'm not talking about other kinds of products. The first thing is I have loved shopping my stash every few days and sort of retesting out some products in my collection. That is, in fact, how I came to know and adore these 2 products that I talked about earlier. Every few days, every 3-4 days, I've been pulling out a different foundation, a different concealer. I've been retesting out, not that one, the Hourglass Ambient Lighting Bronzer. I have it in Radiant Bronze Light. I mentioned this in a recent video that I really wasn't for sure if I liked this and that I needed to continue testing it and, either use it or lose it. So I have been doing that. Verdict's still out though. Another one I've been kind of testing that I got my hands on is this Wet n Wild Color Icon bronzer in the shade Sunset Striptease. That's the bronzer I have on today. I talked about I've been using the Sephora one. So I've just been kind of reaching into my collection every few days and pulling out specific products to leave here on my vanity that I want to get to know better or make some kind of decision about. And I've just been loving it. Like, I feel like I'm diving back into my collection. It's not that I've not purchased any brand new makeup. I just reviewed the Pat Mcgrath Mothership Mega Celestial Divinity palette. I'll link it down below in case you're curious. But, so I have had some new makeup come into my life. I will say I am going to be purchasing the new Natasha Denona Trichrome palette. So let me know if you guys are interested in seeing some looks with that. I'm not specifically buying it to review it. I do intend on reviewing it in some capacity, but I do know it's very expensive. It is one of the larger palettes, which come in at $129. So, you know, if you only want to see a couple of looks with that because you're not going to purchase the palette or not interested, I totally get that. Just let me know what your thoughts are. But I've just been loving shopping my stash, basically, like unofficially shopping my stash on my own, just figuring some things out. And then the other thing I've really been enjoying is sort of shopping my stash for the things that I've shared in the 3 fall video, like fall favorites videos that I've put up so far. I did, like I said, the my top 10 fall eyeshadow palettes. I did my fall essentials, both beauty and lifestyle, including the types of blush and lippies and etc. that I like to use during the fall. And then I actually did a fall lippy video, which was a subscriber request. But I've just been enjoying using all the products. I've kind of kept them all handy around my vanity here, and I've been using, you know, the blush that I've talked about and the lippies that I've talked about. I have all of those 10 eyeshadow palettes in a basket underneath my desk here that I've been pulling from every day, specifically the Jackie Aina palette. That being said, I am really excited to restart my official Shop My Stash project, series, whatever you want to call it. I don't know what I'm going to shop my stash for this coming month. You'll find out tomorrow. At this point, I have no idea. So there's that, but I will be getting back to my Shop My Stash because I really love that series, and obviously I'm enjoying shopping my stash. And then lastly, I just again want to put it out there, if there are any fall videos that you would like to see yet before we switch over to talking about winter videos and holiday videos and all that good stuff, just let me know down in the comments. It doesn't have to be fall videos. Any video requests that you'd like to leave down in the comments, I always write them down or screenshot them or something so that I keep those ideas around. If I don't get to them right away, just know that they're still there hanging out waiting for the right time for that video. Woo! So that's all I have for you today. I thought this would be short and sweet, but I'm just rambling like nobody's business today. I hope you guys enjoyed the return of my month in review. Let me know if there's any types of content that you'd like me to include in these videos in the future. I'm really glad to be back doing this because I'd like to just kind of do a monthly roundup or recap of, you know, what's been going on with me for the month. So all of that being said, if you did enjoy today's video, I would really appreciate it if you could give it a thumbs up for me. It really helps me out. Subscribe if you haven't done that already, if you liked what you saw today. And I hope all of your makeup days are absolutely beautiful makeup days, and I will see you in my next video real soon.